From Hollywood, it's time now for John Lund as
Johnny Dollar.
Down Vegas, Johnny. Hey, how would you like to go to California with me?
Oh, I like that fine, but do I have to work?
If you want to eat while you're out, Johnny, we've written a lot of insurance for Los Angeles contractor named Elliott Champion.
Uh-huh.
Last night, his latest project went up in smoke. An office building he completed 2 weeks ago.
How much is the policy worth?
Damages over $500,000. I talked with our arson inspector long distance. He had some interesting things to say.
Like what?
The file looks phony.
I'll pack my things.
John Lund in the transcribed adventure of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to Home Office, Great Eastern Fire and Casualty, New York City. The following is an accounting of expenditures during my investigation of the Elliott Champion matter. Expense account item 1, $38.87, train fare and incidentals between Hartford and New York, where I met Agent Don Vickers and we made arrangements to fly to California. Item 2, $28 even, one raincoat. Item 3, $199.15, transportation New York to Los Angeles. En route, Vickers filled me in on the details concerning Mr. Elliott Champion.
I met him once, Johnny, when he was in New York last time.
Uh-huh.
Vickers, I said to myself, look well on this man. He may be the last of his kind.
How's that, Don?
Well, Champion's 60 or better now, and he's been everything in his lifetime. Sailor, soldier, lawyer, financier, Lord knows what all. One of those birds who started with absolutely nothing. He talked fast, worked hard, and what he couldn't get one way, he managed to get another. All in all, he's done pretty well. I didn't like him, Johnny.
Go on.
Well, maybe I was just jealous of his aggressiveness, or maybe it's that I've heard stories of how he ran roughshod over big and little. Well, it's about this office building.
Yeah?
Ives, the man who called me, has worked on several arson cases for us. Said the fire was of a definite incendiary origin.
Can he prove it?
Yeah, nothing fancy. Somebody poured a few gallons of gasoline over some leftover building materials in the elevator shaft and threw a match on it.
Oh, pretty effective. What else?
Well, Champion's in financial trouble. The insurance would be better than the building. Ives will probably have more for us when we get there. He's been working on it from the start.
I feel like a patsy.
Oh, how's that?
Well, Norman Ives has always been the best arson man in the business since I can remember. And you're no slouch. What am I doing in this?
Protection, Johnny. If Champion fired that building down and collect the insurance, I want to know about it. Ives might find the answer, you might find it, or I might find it. But where Champion's involved, it won't be easy. We'll all have to work.
Are you scared of this guy?
Yeah. Nobody's ever beat him.
Expense account item 4, $7.50. Incidentals upon arrival. Vickers and I checked into the New Statler Hotel, grabbed a few hours' sleep, and the next morning drove out to the scene of the fire with Norman Ives, the arson expert.
A watchman on duty had seen a man loitering in the vicinity of the building when he came to work at 6 o'clock. 3 other people remember the same man, a druggist, a filling station man, and a newsboy. All of their descriptions were pretty close. Medium build, medium height, medium weight. Between 25 and 30.
Well, that's helpful.
Yeah. Now, the druggist and the man who ran the filling station could only supply the description, but the newsboy swears he saw this man sneak around the side of the building around 8 o'clock. The fire broke out about 8:30.
Anybody see him leave?
The newsboy says he saw him catch a bus on the corner right before the fire broke out. The bus driver on the line wasn't any help. The police have broken out every mug they can find in the arson files.
Well, if the man with all the medium things about him is the man, this might not be so tough.
No luck so far. I don't think they'll pick him up in the arson files, Dollar. It was an amateur job. And I'll show you exactly how when we get there.
What about the police lineup?
Well, they've had 3 so far. One coming up tonight and one tomorrow. And I'd say that's a long chance, too.
No professional, no firebug?
There's a possibility, sure, but none of it seems right to me. A bug will plan it and perform it just like an expert. And he'll stand around and watch it burn. Maybe he'll call somebody up and tell him how happy he is. But I don't think our boy is any bug. There's something else in it, or I miss my guess.
Well, you're the specialist. Any ideas?
Not a one. I talked to the men who had been working in the building that day. There was no gasoline stored in that basement when they left work at 4 o'clock. But somebody moved in at least 5 gallons of gas between 4 and 6 when the watchman came on. How he did it, where he got it, I don't know. But it's one thing we'll have to find out.
The police have any leads?
They're working as hard as they know how. It would take a long time to check every filling station and find out who bought a 5-gallon can of gasoline.
Yeah.
We're up against something here, and
Has anybody talked to Champion?
Not yet. All he knows is that the fire people are trying to discover how the blaze started. I thought it best to leave it that way until we get our bearings. Well, here we are.
Sure looks like a mess.
Yeah. Come on, I'll show you how much of a mess it really is.
We spent the rest of the day covering the ruins of the 10-story office building that had been gutted by flames 2 days before. Ives acquainted us with all of the necessary details on exactly how the fire had been started. That night, we sat in on the lineup at the police station while the 4 witnesses looked at some 60-odd suspects. There were no identifications. The next day, while Vickers and Ives worked with the police, I went out to Elliott Champion's real estate office in Glendale. Expense account item 5, $5 taxi fare, including tip. Remember that old saw about how a woman in love is always beautiful? Well, when I walked in, I had no idea Mildred Champion was in love and no idea that she was beautiful. Her sallow face, without makeup, framed in a wisp of never-set blonde hair, wasn't flattered by the shapeless black dress and low-heeled shoes that she was wearing. Certainly not the going idea of beauty. Nor did her conversation reveal anything to indicate love.
Yes, may I help you?
Mr. Elliott Champion, please. My name is Dollar.
Dollar? D-O-L-L-A-R?
He's not expecting me.
Your business, Mr. Dollar?
Great Eastern Fidelity. It's about the fire.
Oh, just a moment, please.
Well, what is it, Mildred?
Mr. Dollar is here, Uncle Elliott.
I don't want to see anybody today. I told you that, you idiot.
He's from the insurance company. It's about the fire.
Oh. Now, send him in. We're going out to lunch.
Yes, sir. All right, Mr. Dollar, straight ahead.
He always like that?
He's nice today.
I see. Thanks, Mildred. Well, that's your name, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Oh, straight ahead.
Dollar,
Yes. Mr. Champion?
come on in. I'm not going to ask you to sit down. I know why you're here. You have Insurance Investigator written all over you.
Well, in that case, we can get right down to business, Mr. Champion.
We certainly can. Do they know what caused the fire yet?
They do. Somebody poured gasoline on some rubbish in the basement. It was deliberate.
I thought so.
Why?
Because Joseph Harrison is out of prison now, and he swore he'd get back at me.
Who's Joseph Harrison?
Harrison worked for me at one time. Discovered stealing money from me, and I prosecuted him. He was sent to prison for 5 years. He's the one.
You seem pretty certain of that.
Of course I'm certain of it. I know what enemies I have, what friends.
There are some witnesses who've got to look at the man who we believe started the fire. What does Joseph Harrison look like?
I don't remember. I hardly ever remember faces.
But you remembered his threat.
What I remembered was the small story in the newspapers last week that he was being released from prison.
Well, we'll certainly look him up and have a talk with him.
Now, that's very good of you, I'm sure.
Now, look, this can be a difficult thing all the way around, or we can cooperate, Mr. Champion.
I understand you people have been over to my bank looking into my personal affairs.
I don't think I have to beat around the bush with you, Mr. Champion. There's a lot of money at stake here. We'll have to hold up your claim until we get all the facts.
You'll pay that claim, Mr. Dollar.
I didn't say we wouldn't. But we'll have to be satisfied in all directions.
Then satisfy yourself. Get Joseph Harrison. He burned down my building.
A review of the trial and proceedings in which Joseph Harrison had been convicted of grand theft, his threats at the time of the trial, substantiated Champion's information. When 2 of the witnesses identified Harrison's mug picture, an APB went out. We worked with the police. When all the routine places had been covered, we branched out and went out after anybody.
for you?
My name's Dollar. Are you Mr. Angle?
That's right.
Insurance investigator, Mr. Angle. Trying to locate a former client of yours, Joseph Harrison.
Oh, my goodness. I defended Joe over 6 years ago. You come in. I always fix my own dinner. Poached egg and half. Ulcers. Name's Dollar.
Yeah?
You want something?
No, thanks.
Do you mind if I finish?
No, go right ahead.
What led you to me?
Well, covering everybody. We're very anxious to get hold of Harrison and talk to him.
Well, I don't think I'm going to be much help, Dollar. What's it all about?
He's been identified as the man who started a fire in the Elliott Champion building.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Are you, Mr. Angle?
Truly sorry. Joe Harrison was a nice kid who got in a little trouble, is all. But a calendar job. Born with one war just finished, a depression on deck, and another war in the hole. Makes a difference in a man's life. The calendar got him. Everything was against him at the trial, too. Champion poured it on. He didn't have to, but he did. He could have let him off.
Did you try to talk him into that?
No, I didn't. Nobody talks Elliott Champion into anything. And besides, Joe would never admit taking the funds. He said he was framed. Well, he didn't have a prayer with all the evidence Champion had against him. Why,
I read the trial notes.
Yeah, and that's it. Joe pleaded not guilty in the face of everything, and he went up. I want him to make a guilty plea and go on the mercy of the court. It was his first offense.
Well, he's out now, and as I said, it looks like he's trying to get even with Champion for prosecuting him.
Oh, for a lousy $10,000.
Has he gotten in touch with you?
Oh, no.
You ever write to you from prison?
No.
You have any idea where he'd be in town, Mr. Angle?
No, I don't.
Well, then I guess I'll leave you to your eggs.
Oh, yeah. Dollar. If you find Joe, I'd like to know about it.
Why, Mr. Angle?
I'd like to see him. I wonder what 5 years in prison does to a kid like that.
Yeah. At 5 o'clock that afternoon, it seemed we had run down every possible lead trying to find Joseph Harrison. By that time, the other two witnesses had made up their minds that he was the man they'd seen after all. With the 4 identifications, the case against Harrison became stronger, and our case against Elliott Champion grew weaker. It was imperative that we locate Harrison and prove or disprove that he started the fire. Yeah, Johnny Dollar.
This is Mildred Champion. Remember in my uncle's office?
Yeah, I remember.
Mr. Dollar, you're looking for Joe Harrison, aren't you? I know you are. You don't have to answer me. And I think I can help you find him, but he's not the one you're looking for. I live at 1038 Dorada Drive. I'll be home in another hour. We can talk there.
At 5:30, I received another call. This one from Champion's lawyer. He advised me that Champion would bring suit if the claim was not honored immediately. Could have been a bluff, or he could have meant business. We never found out. I had a third call at 5:38.
Johnny, this is I.
Hi, how's it going?
Champion's dead.
What?
I'm on my way out of the house now. Somebody shot him 10 minutes ago.
We'll return to yours truly, Johnny Dollar, in just a moment. Now, with our star, John Lund, we bring you the second act of yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Apparently, Elliott Champion had died as swiftly as he had lived. A .38 slug had entered the very center of his forehead. There was no weapon lying about. There were no witnesses in the remote hilly section of Glendale where he lived to give any information concerning the crime. The police were more anxious than ever to find Joseph Harrison. Their reasoning was that if he'd burned down a $250,000 building to get back at Elliott Champion, he also might shoot him. The arson case had turned into a murder case. When Don Vickers joined Ives and me at the scene, things were still pretty much up in the air.
Well, this is a new wrinkle. What do you suppose...
We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I thought I was getting somewhere.
You find something?
I don't know. Take a look at this.
Huh?
Here. Mildred Champion married Harrison a month before he was convicted.
Well, I'll be...
Me, too.
Were they separated?
Only by the prison term. No record of any divorce or annulment proceedings. Well, what do you make of it, Johnny?
I don't know what to make of it. She called me earlier and said she had some information for me. I was on my way there when this happened.
You didn't talk to her?
No. She's his only living relative. And now she can't be found. Found at her place, anyhow.
Funny, huh?
It wasn't funny at all. From the 2 times I'd spoken to her and the 1 time I'd seen her, I'd gathered a pretty definite impression of Mildred Champion. But apparently, it had been all wrong.
All right, I'm here. I'll be there. Why, Dollar.
Hello, Mr. Engel.
Never thought I'd see you anymore. What's up? Still looking for Joe?
Still looking for Joe.
Yeah, wish I could help you, Dollar.
Elliott Champion was shot and killed in his home tonight.
No.
That's all you have to say?
What else is there to say? Unless I ask, did Joe do it?
Maybe.
Well,
Did you know Mildred Champion?
I met her.
Did you know she was married to Joe Harrison?
Yeah.
I'll throw one more thing at you, Engel. Champion wasn't always too good about paying his income taxes. Our accountants cover everything in a case like this.
What do you want me to say?
I'm here to get all of the story now. I think you're the man who can tell it.
Why?
You can tell me if Harrison was the kind of man who'd start that fire. You can tell me if he really was an embezzler. You can tell me if you think he'd kill Champion.
I can't tell you anything, Dollar. All I have is my opinion.
Well, I'd like your opinion. I really would, Engel. There's something about her being married to Harrison, isn't there?
Yeah? A wife can't testify against her husband. Everyone else in Champion's office testified against him.
I see. Now, the opinion. Come on, Engel.
Yeah, you're right, Dollar. I've got ideas, and all of them make me sick inside. Joe Harrison stood there and told me he was innocent. He said it 1,000,000 times if he said it once. And he told me he thought Champion was framing him.
For the income tax shortages?
Well, that's just surmise, Dollar. He was a green kid who was hired into the company by Champion. He might have been hired to be framed on a phony embezzling charge that'd give Champion a good excuse on his taxes for a while. I've been fooled a lot of times.
Were you fooled with him?
I don't know. I wish I could have gotten him off. I tried, Dollar. Believe me, I tried. You say he's out getting even. He's burned down a building and maybe murdered a man. Joe was a nice boy, Dollar. But now his whole life's gone. And for what? I hope you don't find him. I hope nobody ever finds him.
But we did find Joseph Harrison. He was right under our noses all the time. When I called back at the hotel, there was a message for me to get down to the county hospital. Ives was waiting for me there. We both stood and looked at Joseph Harrison in the morgue.
It's a funny thing, Johnny. There's been an alarm out on this guy for 6 hours. Everybody's been looking everywhere for him, and he turns up right here. Only he's dead.
What killed him?
TV. Just got the whole story. He had it awful bad up at San Quentin. Wanted out awful bad. In the sick ward his last 2 years. When his time was up last week, he made him release him. But he wound up here. Died in this hospital. Just a kid, huh?
Yeah. back where we'd started from, trying to make a case against Elliott Champion. Except now it was trying to make a case against the estate of Elliott Champion. I was surprised to learn before leaving the county hospital that his niece had still not been seen to be informed of her uncle's death. I was even more surprised when Don Vickers reported from police headquarters.
Johnny, this case is breaking.
What?
The guy who runs a gas station on San Fernando Road sold a woman a 5-gallon tin of gasoline last Monday.
Mildred Champion?
Well, it sure sounds like her. Tall, rangy, about 30. The car description checks out, too. She could be the one who did the job on the building easy enough.
Yeah. And on her uncle, too.
Again?
Yeah, come on. And close that and lock it.
It's awful late for this.
I know.
Now what?
We found Joe. He's dead.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. And he didn't do any of the things we thought he might have done. I'm here to find out what you might have done.
Oh, I don't get you.
Engel, I don't know how to figure you. I haven't been able to since we met. Well, now, it doesn't make any difference what I think of you. But it makes a difference how you answer this question. A lot of difference to you.
Well, what, Dollar?
Did you help Champion frame Joe Harrison?
No. I told you I defended him. I tried my best to get him off.
That's the truth?
I'm an honest man, if not a successful one. I told you the truth.
Well, if you did, you're not in any trouble. If you didn't, you might get killed.
What?
You might anyhow.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Ask who it is.
Yeah. Who is it?
Mildred Champion, Mr. Engel.
Tell her just a minute.
Just a minute, Miss Champion.
Okay. Get over there. Go on. Get down.
All right.
Call the police.
Hold it up, Mildred. Hold it up.
Are you hurt?
You.
Are you hurt?
No, I'm all right. Did I kill him? Did I kill him?
No, Mildred. You didn't kill him.
Oh, he ought to be dead. My uncle stole money from himself and made it look like Joe did it.
I know about that.
And that one in there, he helped him. Why didn't you let me kill him, too?
He didn't help your uncle. He tried to help Joe.
When I went over to see Joe last month in the prison hospital, I knew he was dying. He had that look in his eyes. Helpless. And he knew what my uncle had done to him, and he couldn't do anything about it.
But you figured you could. You killed your uncle when you found out Joe died. You came here to kill Engel.
I thought he helped him do it. I thought he helped kill Joe. They did kill him, you know. When they sent him to prison as surely as if they'd shot him down. 5 years I waited for him to get out of that awful place. I waited to hold him in my arms and tell him it was all over. 5 years I waited to help him forget his hate and my hate. Loving him so much every day. And now he's dead. What can you or I or anybody do about what they've done to him? Look at me, Mr. Dollar. I'm not what you'd call beautiful. I'm not even pretty. Nobody ever looked at me twice until Joe. He looked at me and he loved me, and now he's dead, and I'm dead inside. I'm dead inside, and I'll be glad when I'm dead outside.
Come on, Mildred. Expense account item 6. Same as item 3. Transportation back to New York. Item 7, same as item 1. Transportation New York to Hartford. Item 8, $85 miscellaneous. Expense account total, $516.54. Comments. Item 8 you can take away if you want to. It's a legitimate miscellaneous that I pampered myself with. I wanted to forget Mildred Champion talking about her lover. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, stars John Lund in the title role and is written by E. Jack Newman with music by Eddie Dunstetter. Featured in tonight's cast were Eddie Marr, Joe Duval, Joyce McCluskey, Francis X. Bushman, and Herb Butterfield. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, is transcribed in Hollywood by Jaime Del Valle. This is Dan Coverly, inviting you to join us next week at this time when John Lund returns as...
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Tomorrow night at the Star's address, look up Danny Clover, detective in New York City's teeming Times Square area. Danny, born and brought up in the shadow of the Great White Way, knows its haunts and its people as few others do. Tomorrow and every Saturday night on most of these same stations, follow Danny Clover on CBS Radio's Broadway is My Beat. It's packed with thrills and human interests.
Is your soldier boy coming home on furlough? You'll be glad to know Traveler's Aid is standing by to help him get home safe and sound. In bus, train, and airplane terminals, Traveler's Aid workers are constantly helping men and women in uniform, mothers with small children, all kinds of people. Traveler's Aid is really hometown insurance for people on the move. If you miss connections, get stranded in a strange town, or misplace directions, you can count on Traveler's Aid to help. Remember, your community chest gift supports Traveler's Aid and 159 other services. So give now to your community chest and give generously. And remember, America now listens to 105 million radio sets and listens most to the CBS Radio Network.
From Hollywood, it's time now for John Lund as...
Johnny Dollar.
My name's Elgin, Mr. Dollar. Claims Division, Delaware Mutual Life.
What can I do for you, Mr. Elgin?
Would you be free to work on a case for us?
Oh, I might be. What kind of a case is it?
It involves a man named Patterson and a claim we paid off to the tune of $40,000.
Uh-huh.
You see, Patterson died in 1947. All the routine procedures were followed. There was no reason for not honoring the policy at the time.
And there's reason now, Mr. Elgin?
That's for you to find out, Mr. Dollar. A lifelong friend of the deceased swears he's still alive and kicking.
Oh. I'll take the case, Mr. Elgin.
John Lund in a transcribed adventure of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar, Hartford, Connecticut. To Controller's Office, Delaware Mutual Life Insurance Company, Wilmington, Delaware. The following is an accounting of expenditures during my investigation of the Walter Patterson matter. Expense account item 1, $78.14, fare and incidentals between Hartford and Wilmington. I arrived at 2:30 in the afternoon, found a room at the Chesapeake Hotel, stowed my luggage, and went directly to your headquarters, Mr. Elgin.
Of course, reports like this cross my desk ever so often. If I ran them all down, I'd get nothing else done.
And 10 times out of 10, the report's wrong.
Yes, I know that, but this report bears investigation. I can remember 3 years after my father's death, I saw a man on a subway train to New York who, well, he looked exactly as I remembered my dad. I finally walked up and asked him his name. The minute he spoke, I lost the impression altogether. I think a lot of people have had that same kind of experience at one time or another, don't you?
Yes, I suppose so. We all have a double somewhere, they say. An old friend saw this man, Patterson?
Yes, in Tucson, Arizona. Her name's Virginia Collier. I'd have her here now to talk to you, but unfortunately, she's en route to Europe.
Oh, I see.
2 weeks ago, Mrs. Collier stopped off in Tucson on her way back from Los Angeles. She claims that she saw Walter Patterson as big as life sitting in a bar at the El Conquistador Hotel.
Is that all?
No, she managed to talk to him. He told her his name was Yoler, William Yoler. Mrs. Collier says he pretended not to know her at all.
Uh-huh.
Now, here's the first point, Dollar. I wired authorities in Tucson to run a check on William Yoler. In their conversation, Yoler told Mrs. Collier that he'd been born and raised in Tucson. But from all we could gather, he'd never bought property or made a financial negotiation there until June of 1947.
Oh, wait. This Mrs. Collier, do you consider her reliable?
Well, that's another point. If it had been anybody else, I don't think I'd have bothered making even a cursory check. But Mrs. Collier practiced law here for a number of years and sat on the circuit bench for 2 terms. She's most reliable, and she knew Walter Patterson all of his life.
Okay. Go on.
The next thing is that Mrs. Collier distinctly remembered Patterson's limp. He was a pilot in the war. One leg was about half an inch shorter than the other from injuries he received in the crash. Mrs. Collier said this man Yoler had an identical limp.
Well, with the similarity of features, it'd be easy for her to imagine that part, don't you think?
Ah, yes, I know what you're driving at, but there are some other things, too. Mrs. Collier asked Yoler if he'd ever gone to Amherst. That's where Patterson went to college. Yoler denied it, said he was a Notre Dame graduate. That didn't check out either. Now, we can assume that William Yoler merely looked a great deal like the late Walter Patterson and told some inaccuracies in a conversation at the bar. Or we can assume that he's really Walter Patterson, covering rather badly in the face of an old acquaintance who recognized him. At any rate, this is Mrs. Collier's entire statement duly notarized.
All right.
Now, this is a copy of the original policy on Patterson.
How long with this company?
Since 1936. Started with 2 $5,000 policies and built up to a master over a period of years.
I see.
Here. $20,000. Patterson was killed in a plane crash, and we paid double indemnity on the accident clause.
Oh.
It happened in April of 1947. Patterson took off on a rented plane one day and crashed offshore down the coast. Part of the plane wreckage was recovered, but his body was never found. The appellate court declared him legally dead after the usual 3-year waiting period, April 5th, 1950. Patterson's lawyer filed claim for the widow April 17th, and we issued a full check April 30th of that year.
Investigators' reports?
Right in this folder. Now, this is the last picture ever taken of Patterson, and these are his vital statistics.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know exactly what you'd want to do first, so I thought they might prove helpful. If we had a body to exhume, it could all be handled rather simply.
Is Patterson's widow the beneficiary?
Yes, Gloria Ann Patterson. Incidentally, she knows nothing about this report yet.
Oh? Well, where'd these things come from? Pictures and fingerprints aren't stock material in insurance files.
Mr. Brennan, Patterson's lawyer, gathered them for me. He's been very helpful.
Oh. Has Patterson's widow been checked?
As far as the money goes, she simply banked it in a savings account. Hasn't been touched at all.
Well, on the face of it, that would eliminate the probability of any fraud on her part.
Yes,
for the moment.
it would.
Well, I want to look this all over.
Sure. You'll keep in touch with me, won't you?
You bet. I spent the remainder of my day in and about Wilmington talking to the principals connected with the plane crash death of Walter Patterson. Number one was the radio operator who'd spoken to him last. Number two, a mechanic at the flying field. And number three, Lieutenant James Craigson, Coast Guard, who had conducted the search in the bay. See attached statement. We both agreed that an unreported rescue was possible but highly improbable. And when I left for Tucson that night, I was more or less convinced that all I'd find there would be a lot of desert sunshine. Expense account item 2. $202.25 plane fare and incidental expenses from Wilmington to Tucson. I settled for a motel room out by the Veterans Hospital, slept 6 hours, then looked up Sergeant Tyler at the police station.
Yeah, sure, Mr. Dollar. What can I do for you?
Mr. Elgin said you sent him a little information on William Yoler. I wonder if you have anything to add to that, Sergeant.
No, nothing much. Of course, I don't know what you folks are driving at exactly. I just checked up on him a little bit.
Well, he resembles a man who's supposed to be dead. And that's why I'm here.
I see. Well, there's nothing much I can add to what I sent Mr. Elgin, Dollar. Yoler's never been in any trouble around here. Gets along fine.
You were the one who checked out the residency business?
Yeah. According to vitals, Yoler wasn't born in this state, and like I said, no one knew him around here until 5 years ago.
What does he do?
Nothing. Always seems to have plenty of money. Bought a nice little house out in Sierra Vista. Paid $42,000 for it.
Is he married?
No, lives alone there. Putters around with clay and painting.
You know if he flies?
I couldn't tell you that. He might.
How about his friends?
Lots of them, Mr. Dollar. Little town like this, you get to know people fast. Now, really, you folks might be spending a lot of money for nothing. Will Yoler don't seem like the kind of fellow who's hiding out from anybody.
Yeah, I agree. But I'll have to talk to him anyhow.
Yeah. Here's his address. Sure pretty day, isn't it?
Sure is. Mr. Yoler?
Yo. Who are you?
My name's Dollar. I'm an insurance investigator.
Oh? Well, come on in.
Oh, thanks.
Take a chair. Anywhere. Oh, what's on your mind?
Oh, I'm just making a routine check, Mr. Yoler. I thought perhaps you could help me.
No, what about?
Well, I'm running down a report in the home office. Tell me, you happen to remember a few days ago when you were out at the El Conquistador Hotel?
I'm out there all the time. What about it? I steal something?
No, you met a woman named Collier.
Did I?
Yes, it was at the bar. You had a drink with her.
I might have. I still don't understand.
Well, I know it seems confusing. Maybe this will help. Take a look at this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you'll admit you look a great deal like the man in the picture.
Yeah, I suppose I do. I'll be darned. I do at that.
Well, that's why I'm here. You see, the company I represent insured the man in this picture for quite an amount of money. He was lost in a plane crash 5 years ago. The Mrs. Collier, who saw you here, thought you were him.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not. I wasn't in the Army. You want to smoke?
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
She was a lifelong friend of the man, Mr. Yoler. I have her sworn statement about the identity.
Well?
What years did you go to Notre Dame?
I didn't go to Notre Dame. What is this?
Well, that's what you told Mrs. Collier.
Oh. Oh, now I remember that woman. Well, that was on Sunday. Yeah, well, I might have told her anything, Mr. Dollar. You know, she was one of those inquisitive kind. I never could make out what was on her mind. Oh, now I get it. She thought that I was this man.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Did you go to college?
Yeah, Tulane. I got out in 36.
You haven't lived in Arizona all your life. Where else have you lived?
Mr. Dollar, I don't want to be unpleasant, but do you have any right to ask me questions like this?
Well, no, I don't. But you'll help me a lot if you'll answer them, Mr. Yoler.
All right, why not? Well, I've lived in Cincinnati, Buffalo, around the country. I came here a few years ago for my health. I got a little asthma that bothers me.
Ever been married?
Yeah, once, 1944. Didn't last very long. Anything else you want to know?
Well, are you in a hurry? I can come back
No,
later.
no, not exactly. I've got to go downtown today, that's all. Look, you seem like a nice enough guy, but it makes me uncomfortable answering these questions of yours.
Well, and I appreciate the time you've given me already, Mr. Yoler. Please understand, it's just a matter of identity.
Well, you know who I am. I just told you.
That's true.
I don't like this business much. Is there any way that we can eliminate it? I have a birth certificate and some other papers. You can have them. Make photostats if you like.
Well, that's very kind of you, Mr. Yoler.
Well, they're in my safety deposit box down at the bank. I'll get them for you this afternoon.
Okay. My job is to check them.
Sure, it's okay by me. Well, how do you like Tucson?
Well, it's a lot different from Connecticut.
Yeah, I'll bet.
The birth certificate and whatever else you have will help a lot, but wonder if I could ask another favor.
Sure, what is it?
The most positive identification would be fingerprints.
Oh?
Mr. Yoler, I'm not so much interested in who you are, but simply in proving that you're not Walter Patterson. If you volunteered a set of prints, it'd save me a great deal of digging around. Could you drop in at the police station?
Certainly, Mr. Dollar. Why not?
Well, that'll be fine.
That's all right. Nice meeting you.
Same here. If he was trying to cover something, it certainly wasn't apparent from his conversation or his actions. He was almost too anxious to help me. By 5 o'clock, I had made reservations to return to Wilmington because the set of fingerprints, see attached, which Mr. Yoler made at the Tucson police station later that day, in no way matched the right thumb and index prints recorded in your file for Walter Patterson. In short, the report seemed erroneous. William Yoler might not have been William Yoler, but he certainly was not Walter Patterson. Johnny Dollar.
Will Yoler, Mr. Dollar.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for the prints.
Dollar, I've got to talk to you.
Something wrong?
Plenty. Do you know how to get to the Arizona Inn?
Well, I can find it.
All right, I'll be there in 20 minutes.
From the tone of his voice, I felt compelled to get there in half that time. I sat down at the bar and ordered a drink and waited for him to show up. An hour later, I was still waiting. I called his house 3 times and received no answer. I began to get worried. Finally, I left word with the bartender and took a cab out to his house. I arrived there at 8:35. There were no lights on and apparently no one around. I walked up to the front door and found it partially open. Yoler? Yoler? Mr. Yoler?
Operator,
Give me the police, please.
one moment.
Sergeant Tyler speaking.
Johnny Dollar, Sergeant.
Hi, how's it going? Thought you were leaving.
Not for a while, Sergeant. I'm at Will Yoler's house. He's been murdered.
We'll return to yours truly, Johnny Dollar, in just a moment. Every Saturday on CBS Radio, Theater of Today brings you fresh, gripping drama, well-acted stories of human relations. Sometimes it's comedy, sometimes serious. Always, Theater of Today strikes a chord of response in listeners who readily identify the stories with their own experience, past or present. Remember to hear Theater of Today every Saturday in the daytime on most of these same CBS radio stations. Now, with our star, John Lund, we bring you the second act of yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Turned out to be a long night. Sergeant Tyler and several homicide officers arrived at the murder scene within a matter of minutes and got right down to the matter at hand. Yoler had been beaten to death. There were signs of a violent struggle having taken place all over the house, kitchen, bathroom, living room. As far as the police could determine, nothing was missing. The motive, the name of the killer, and any probable suspects were all up in the air as Sergeant Tyler drove me back to my motel room.
The whole thing's a mess, Dollar. You sure he didn't say anything else to you on the phone?
Just asked to meet me. I'll admit he sounded frightened, worried about something. But I don't get it. Our business was all finished. He wasn't the man I was looking for.
You going to be around for a while?
Well, if I can help you, I'll stick around, sure. Otherwise, I'll get back to Wilmington as soon as I can.
I'd like to have you around for a day or two.
You have a particular reason, Sergeant?
Yes, I do.
What?
I want to find me a killer, and I think you can help. Nobody walks into a man's house, fights with him, breaks up furniture and lamps, beats him to death without making a lot of noise about it.
Well, the wind was pretty strong.
I don't care if a hurricane was blowing. When people fight like that, there's always noise. Somebody heard something. Somebody saw something. Somebody saw someone. My men will cover every house in Sierra Vista if they have to turn up a witness. Bound to be somebody, somewhere.
The dogged Sergeant Tyler turned out to be 100% correct. In fact, 300% correct. For by 11 o'clock the following morning, his men had located 3 different people who had information about the brutal murder of William Yoler. One of them, a Mrs. Lucas, gave us what turned out to be our best lead.
I take a walk every evening after dinner. The nicest part of the day.
And you were out walking last night, Mrs. Lucas?
Yes. I told the officers everything.
Would you tell us, please, Mrs. Lucas?
I walked past Mr. Yoler's house on my way down the arroyo.
What time was that, Mrs. Lucas?
Between 7:30 and 8. And I saw Mr. Yoler standing in front of the house talking to this man. I spoke to him, and he spoke to me.
Can you describe the man he was talking to?
Yes, I saw him very well. He was a very large man, bigger than Mr. Yoler, and Mr. Yoler always struck me as a big man.
Go on.
Well, this man was a good 2 inches taller. He had on a top coat, a tweed one, and he had his hat in his hand. His hair was red.
How old would you say?
Not over 40.
Have you ever seen him before?
No. I noticed him when I walked by on my way down the arroyo, as I said. And then when I was coming back, I could see through the window, and he was still there.
With the lights on in the house?
Oh, yes, in the living room, and the porch light was still on, too.
Would you know this man if you saw him again, Mrs. Lucas?
Well, yes, I would. I'm sure I would. He was so big.
Was there a car out in front of Mr. Yoler's house?
I didn't notice one. There could have been.
Was there a bus service that runs up
Oh,
there?
no. Everyone who lives in the arroyo has to have a car. No buses up there at all.
Sergeant Tyler issued an all-points bulletin according to the description given by the witnesses. In the meantime, his men checked the local cab companies and found out that one of the drivers had carried a fare to William Yoler's house at 6:30 the previous evening. The cab driver verified Mrs. Lucas's description of the suspect and the important information that he had picked up the suspect at the airport. When that was checked, it was found the man had arrived on a plane from the east at 5:45 in the afternoon. He had used the name Roger Bales. But except for a strong case against him, the whole thing was still very confusing from our point of view. Expense account item 3, $6.50. Long-distance telephone charges to your office.
Well, I'll be darned. You have to stay there?
Well, they've asked me to, Mr. Elgin.
Well, as far as the insurance company's concerned, it's really none of our business, is it?
That's right, Mr. Elgin. If I'm going to...
Dollar.
Oh, hold on. Yeah?
Answer from Washington on your wire.
Oh, yeah?
Here.
Let me see. Mr. Elgin.
Yes?
It is our business, after all.
Huh?
The War Department has a better sample of Walter Patterson's prints than you gave me. These check out.
Slow down. I still don't understand.
I wired a sample of Yoler's prints to the War Department this morning for a positive identification. They just answered me. Yoler was Walter Patterson.
Uh-oh.
Where did you get those prints that were in the file you gave me?
Mr. Brennan, Patterson's lawyer, got them for me. From a pilot's license.
Uh-huh.
I'd better call Mr. Brennan.
Oh, don't you dare.
Well, what can I do to help you, Dollar?
Don't open your mouth. I'll handle it when I get there. Expense account item 4, $42.85. Expenses while in Tucson. And item 5, same as item 2, traveling expenses from Tucson to Wilmington. I arrived at 10:15 in the evening, called you, obtained Lawyer Brennan's home address, and went directly there. The house was English, conservative, expensive. And the fire in the living room looked cheerful when the door opened.
Yes?
Good evening. I'd like to see Mr. Brennan, please. It's rather important. My name is Dollar.
Bob's been ill for the last 2 or 3 days, Mr. Dollar. He's up in his room reading now. If you're sure it's important, I'll disturb you.
It is, Mrs. Brennan, very important.
I'm not Mrs. Brennan. I'm Mrs. Patterson.
What?
Is there something wrong?
Oh, no, Mrs. Patterson.
Come in,
Nothing at all.
Mr. Dollar. You'll excuse me, please. I'll see if he can see you.
I watched Walter Patterson's widow disappear up a column stairway. I hadn't been ready to meet this attractive, well-groomed woman. But after I had met her and seen her for that brief moment, I was partially prepared to meet Robert Brennan, attorney at law.
Mr. Dollar, Bob.
Oh, hello, Mr. Dollar. You're a late caller.
Yes, I'm sorry about that.
Bob, I'll run along. It's almost 7.
All right, dear.
Good night, Mr. Dollar.
Good night, Mrs. Patterson. Brennan, I just flew in from Tucson, Arizona. I'm an insurance investigator.
Oh.
Well, good night.
Gloria, you'll be interested in what Mr. Dollar has to say.
What? I don't understand, Bob.
Let's go into the living room. Come on, dear.
Are you sure you want Mrs. Patterson here?
Yeah. Gloria, I didn't get these bruises falling down a flight of stairs. I got them in a fight.
What?
I flew to Tucson the day before yesterday to see Walter.
Why?
Yes, Walter's been alive all this time.
Bob.
This is only for her benefit, Dollar. I'll tell it just once. When you get me in court, it'll be different.
How did it happen, Brennan?
Gloria, Walt didn't die in that crash. He was picked up in the bay by a fishing boat on its way to Florida. The first port they came into was Charleston. He phoned me long distance from there and told me all about it. This was 10 days after we all thought he was dead. Gloria, it was his idea. You've got to believe that.
What was his idea?
He hated you. You know how often he asked you for a divorce? It was the idea he had when he phoned me from Charleston. He said it was his chance to get away from you. He knew how I always felt about you, and he said I could have you. For a price.
You've been supporting him wherever he's been since then?
$25,000 a year, regular monthly payments. I could afford it. I could afford anything for you, Gloria.
Did he tell you he hated me? Did he?
He just wanted to be away from you, from everything. The war changed him that way.
About the day before yesterday.
The man at the insurance company called up making inquiries. I didn't know if he'd sent an investigator out there or not, but I gave him a lot of information and material that, well, it should have helped throw you off.
It threw me off, all right, especially the fingerprints.
Mr. Dollar can tell you, Gloria, how Walt didn't want to be here with you. Isn't that right, Dollar? Didn't he do everything he could to make you think his name was Yoler?
Uh-huh.
You see, Gloria?
Where is he now?
He's dead, Mrs. Patterson. Truly dead now.
Oh,
That's all I have to say, Dollar.
you've fought with Walter. You killed him.
It was him or me, Gloria. He phoned me 2 days ago and said that the police had been checking on him. I told him what it was all about and not to get scared, but he was scared, and I got a plane the first chance I had.
What did you argue about?
Apparently, you'd been there that morning. He was going to tell you the truth and claim he had amnesia. He said he had a date to meet you.
You didn't answer my question.
What do you mean I didn't answer it? I just told you he was going to blow the whole thing.
Oh, Bob.
All I wanted out of this was you, Gloria. He didn't want you. I did. Last week, you said you decided to marry me. It took you 5 years to decide that. And it took him one lousy afternoon to decide he was going to come back to you.
I realize that the confusion is set down in this report is worthless as evidence both to the police and your insurance company. The proof that Brennan killed Patterson will be a matter for the courts to decide. The proof that Gloria Ann Patterson is guilty or not guilty of a fraudulent claim is a matter for you to decide. At any rate, she is a widow now. And I personally am convinced that she had no complicity in the matter of claims, murder, or collusion. Expense account item 6, same as item 1. Expenses from Wilmington to Hartford. Expense account total $610.13. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.